As Gautama Buddha once said, "In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you." Have you ever stopped in the middle of a busy day and wondered about the wisdom passed down through generations? In our fast-paced world, where we often chase success, we might forget about the timeless teachings from the past. But what if these old lessons could help us find more happiness and peace in our lives today? Let's take a journey together into the teachings of Buddhism. These teachings aren't just old stories. They're like guiding lights showing us how to live better lives. In our world full of distractions, Buddhism can help us find clarity and understanding. Today, we're starting an adventure to discover more about ourselves and how we can make our lives better. We'll learn practical ways to feel freer and stronger, even when life gets tough. As we explore our thoughts and feelings, we'll find hidden treasures of happiness and peace inside us. But remember, this journey isn't just about learning facts. It's about making real changes in our lives. It's about being open to new ideas and letting them guide us toward a better life. So let's leave our assumptions behind and open our hearts to the possibilities ahead. Are you ready to start this journey with me? Get ready to feel inspired and empowered as we explore the wisdom of Buddhism and how it can help us live happier lives. This isn't just a trip. It's a journey of self-discovery that can lead us to more peace, happiness, and joy. Understanding Buddhism's approach to mental liberation. Buddhism, one of the world's oldest spiritual traditions, offers profound insights into the nature of the mind and the pursuit of mental liberation. At its core, Buddhism teaches that the key to true happiness and fulfillment lies not in external circumstances, but in the cultivation of inner peace and wisdom. Central to this philosophy is the concept of mental freedom, which refers to the state of mind free from the shackles of attachment, aversion, and delusion. In Buddhism, mental liberation is often likened to the state of enlightenment or awakening, wherein individuals transcend the cycle of suffering and attain a deep sense of inner peace and clarity. The path to this liberation is paved with practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and ethical conduct, all aimed at purifying the mind and liberating it from the endless cycle of craving and aversion. Explanation of how certain habits hinder this process. While Buddhism offers a roadmap to mental liberation, it also highlights the various habits and tendencies that hinder progress along this path. These habits, rooted in ignorance and attachment, serve as obstacles to achieving true freedom of the mind. Let's explore some of these common habits and their impact on our mental well-being. Attachment to material possessions. The attachment to material wealth and possessions often leads to feelings of greed, dissatisfaction, and anxiety. By clinging to external objects for happiness, we perpetuate a cycle of craving and suffering, hindering our ability to find true contentment within ourselves. Clinging to past regrets. Dwelling on past mistakes and regrets prevents us from fully embracing the present moment and moving forward with clarity and purpose. By holding on to the past, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves, hindering our ability to experience inner peace and freedom. Worrying about the future. Excessive worry and anxiety about the future rob us of the joy and vitality of the present moment. By constantly dwelling on what might happen, we miss out on the richness of life unfolding right before our eyes, hindering our ability to cultivate mindfulness and presence. Seeking approval from others. The incessant need for external validation and approval traps us in a cycle of dependence and insecurity. By seeking validation from others, we undermine our own sense of self-worth and autonomy, hindering our ability to cultivate true inner confidence and self-acceptance. Holding on to grudges. The harboring of resentment and grudges towards others only serves to poison our own minds with negativity and hostility. By holding on to past grievances, we perpetuate a cycle of anger and resentment, hindering our ability to find peace and forgiveness within ourselves. Habit 1. Attachment to material possessions. How attachment leads to suffering. In our consumer-driven society, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that material possessions hold the key to happiness and fulfillment. We often find ourselves striving tirelessly to acquire more wealth, possessions, and status, believing that they will bring us lasting satisfaction and contentment. However, according to Buddhist teachings, this attachment to material wealth and possessions is a root cause of suffering. Attachment, in the Buddhist sense, refers to the clinging or grasping onto external objects, people, or experiences in the pursuit of happiness. It arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of reality and our place within it. When we become attached to material possessions, we invest them with an exaggerated sense of importance and value, believing that our happiness and well-being depend on them. However, this attachment ultimately leads to suffering in several ways. Firstly, it perpetuates a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction, wherein we constantly seek more and more in a futile attempt to fill a perceived inner void. No matter how much wealth or possessions we accumulate, we find ourselves always wanting more, never satisfied with what we have. Secondly, attachment to material possessions ties us to the transient and impermanent nature of the world. Possessions come and go, wealth fluctuates, and nothing lasts forever. When we attach our happiness to external objects, we set ourselves up for disappointment and distress when those objects inevitably change or disappear. Lastly, attachment to material possessions often leads to feelings of possessiveness, envy, and competitiveness as we compare ourselves to others and measure our worth based on what we own. This can create tension in relationships, breed resentment, and ultimately undermine our sense of inner peace and contentment. So how can we break free from the grip of material attachments and find greater peace and contentment in our lives? Buddhism offers several practical strategies for cultivating a more detached and balanced relationship with material possessions. Practice gratitude. Cultivate a sense of gratitude for what you already have, rather than constantly focusing on what you lack. Take time each day to reflect on the blessings in your life, no matter how small they may seem. Simplify your life. Consider decluttering your living space and letting go of possessions that no longer serve you. Embrace a more minimalist lifestyle focused on quality over quantity. Practice generosity. Share your wealth and possessions with others in need, whether through charitable donations, volunteering, or acts of kindness. By giving to others, you cultivate a sense of abundance and reduce attachment to material possessions. Cultivate mindfulness. Develop awareness of your thoughts and feelings around material possessions, noticing when attachment arises and gently letting it go. Practice mindfulness, meditation to quiet the mind and cultivate inner peace. Focus on experiences over things. Shift your focus from acquiring material possessions to seeking out meaningful experiences and connections with others. Invest your time and energy in activities that bring you joy, fulfillment, and connection. Habit 2. Clinging to past regrets. The detrimental effects of dwelling on past mistakes. We've all experienced moments in our lives that we wish we could redo or erase entirely. Whether it's a missed opportunity, a failed relationship, or a regrettable decision, dwelling on past mistakes can weigh heavily on our minds and hearts. However, according to Buddhist teachings, clinging to past regrets only serves to perpetuate suffering and hinder our ability to find peace and happiness in the present moment. When we obsessively dwell on past mistakes, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to fully engage with the present moment and move forward with clarity and purpose. Instead of learning from our past experiences and using them as stepping stones for growth, we become trapped in a cycle of self-blame, guilt, and rumination. This not only undermines our self-esteem and confidence, but also perpetuates feelings of sadness, regret, and discontentment. Clinging to past regrets often leads to a distorted perception of reality, wherein we exaggerate the significance of our mistakes and overlook the positive aspects of our lives. We become fixated on what could have been rather than appreciating what is, thereby missing out on the beauty and potential of the present moment. Techniques for releasing the grip of past regrets. So how can we break free from the grip of past regrets and cultivate a greater sense of peace and acceptance in our lives? Buddhism offers several practical techniques for releasing the burden of past mistakes and embracing the present moment. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and experiences setbacks. Practice self-compassionate self-talk and refrain from harsh self-judgment. Cultivate forgiveness. Extend forgiveness to yourself and others for past mistakes and transgressions. Recognize that holding on to resentment and grudges only serves to perpetuate suffering, while forgiveness liberates the heart and fosters healing and reconciliation. Focus on the present moment. Cultivate mindfulness by bringing your attention to the present moment and letting go of thoughts and worries about the past. Engage in mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, or body scan practices to anchor yourself in the here and now. Learn from your mistakes. Instead of dwelling on past regrets, view them as opportunities for growth and learning. Reflect on the lessons you've gained from your experiences and use them to inform your present choices and actions. Practice gratitude. Cultivate a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned and the opportunities for growth afforded by past mistakes. Focus on the positive aspects of your life and the blessings that surround you, rather than fixating on what went wrong. Habit 3. Worrying about the future. How excessive worrying disrupts mental peace. In our modern world filled with uncertainty and change, it's natural to feel anxious about what the future may hold. However, when this anxiety crosses the threshold into excessive worrying, it can wreak havoc on our mental peace and well-being. According to Buddhist teachings, worrying about the future not only distracts us from fully experiencing the present moment, but also perpetuates a cycle of stress, anxiety, and discontentment. Excessive worrying disrupts mental peace in several ways. Firstly, it pulls us out of the present moment, causing us to become preoccupied with hypothetical scenarios and worst-case outcomes. Instead of engaging fully with our current experiences, we become lost in a maze of what-ifs and should-haves, leading to feelings of unease and restlessness. Worrying about the future often stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of reality and our place within it. We falsely believe that by ruminating on potential threats or dangers, we can somehow exert control over them and prevent them from occurring. However, this illusion of control only serves to fuel our anxiety and prevent us from accepting the inherent uncertainty of life. Excessive worrying drains our mental and emotional energy, leaving us feeling exhausted, depleted, and unable to cope with life's challenges effectively. It hijacks our attention and focus, making it difficult to engage in meaningful activities or connect with others in a genuine and authentic way. Strategies for cultivating mindfulness to overcome worries about the future. So how can we cultivate mindfulness to overcome worries about the future and find greater peace and equanimity in our lives? Buddhism offers several practical strategies for training the mind to stay present and grounded in the face of uncertainty. Practice mindfulness meditation. Set aside time each day to cultivate mindfulness through formal meditation practice. Focus your attention on the present moment, observing your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment or attachment. Engage in mindfulness-based activities. Incorporate mindfulness into your daily activities by practicing mindful eating, walking, or breathing. Bring your full attention to each moment, savoring the richness of your sensory experience. Cultivate acceptance. Recognize that worrying about the future is a natural part of the human experience, and that it's okay to feel anxious at times. Instead of resisting or suppressing your worries, allow them to arise and pass away without getting caught up in them. Challenge negative thought patterns. Notice when your mind gets caught in a spiral of negative thinking about the future, and challenge these thoughts with evidence-based reasoning. Ask yourself if your worries are based on facts or assumptions, and consider more balanced perspectives. Cultivate gratitude. Shift your focus from worrying about what might go wrong to appreciating what is going right in your life. Cultivate a sense of gratitude for the present moment and the blessings that surround you, no matter how small they may seem. Habit 4. Seeking approval from others. In our interconnected world, driven by social media and constant comparison, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval and validation from others. Whether it's through likes, comments, or social status, many of us crave external validation as a measure of our worth and self-esteem. However, according to Buddhist teachings, this relentless pursuit of approval from others only serves to trap the mind in a cycle of dependence, insecurity, and self-doubt. Seeking external validation can trap the mind in several ways. Firstly, it fosters a sense of dependence on others for our sense of self-worth and validation, thereby relinquishing our autonomy and inner sovereignty. When we rely on external sources of approval to feel good about ourselves, we become vulnerable to the whims and judgments of others, leading to feelings of insecurity and inadequacy. Seeking approval from others often stems from a deep-seated belief that our worth is contingent upon the opinions and perceptions of others. We mistakenly believe that by conforming to societal norms and expectations, we can gain acceptance and validation from others, thereby bolstering our self-esteem and sense of belonging. However, this external validation is fleeting and unreliable, leading to a perpetual cycle of seeking and striving for approval. Seeking approval from others can undermine our ability to cultivate authentic self-expression and autonomy. When we prioritize the opinions and judgments of others over our own inner wisdom and intuition, we suppress our true selves and conform to external expectations, leading to feelings of disconnection and inner turmoil. So, how can we break free from the trap of seeking approval from others and cultivate a deeper sense of self-confidence and inner validation? Buddhism offers several practical suggestions for building self-esteem and reclaiming our inner sovereignty. Cultivate self-awareness. Take time to explore and understand your own values, beliefs, and desires. Cultivate self-awareness through practices such as journaling, introspection, and meditation, allowing you to connect more deeply with your authentic self. Develop self-acceptance. Embrace your strengths, weaknesses, and imperfections as integral parts of your unique identity. Recognize that true self-worth comes from within and cannot be defined by external measures or comparisons to others. Set boundaries. Establish healthy boundaries with others to protect your own emotional well-being and autonomy. Learn to say no when necessary and prioritize your own needs and values, even if it means disappointing others. Cultivate inner validation. Learn to trust your own instincts and intuition rather than relying on external sources of validation. Cultivate inner validation through practices such as mindfulness, self-reflection, and self-expression, allowing you to connect more deeply with your inner truth and wisdom. Habit 5. Holding on to grudges. Holding on to grudges is like carrying a heavy burden that weighs down the soul and poisons the spirit. When we harbor resentment and bitterness towards others, we not only inflict harm upon ourselves, but also perpetuate a cycle of negativity and suffering. According to Buddhist teachings, holding on to grudges is inherently toxic, as it clouds the mind with anger, resentment, and ill will, hindering our ability to find peace and happiness in the present moment. The toxicity of holding on to grudges manifests in several ways. Firstly, it fosters a sense of victimhood and powerlessness, wherein we relinquish our agency and autonomy to the actions and behaviors of others. By blaming others for our own unhappiness and suffering, we perpetuate a cycle of resentment and victimhood, further entrenching ourselves in a state of disempowerment and negativity. Holding on to grudges prevents us from fully engaging with the present moment and moving forward with clarity and purpose. Instead of focusing on what we can control and influence in the here and now, we become fixated on past grievances and injustices, thereby robbing ourselves of the opportunity for growth and transformation. Holding on to grudges erodes our sense of compassion and empathy towards others as we become consumed by our own grievances. When we allow resentment to fester within us, we close ourselves off to the possibility of reconciliation and forgiveness, perpetuating a cycle of conflict and animosity. So, how can we break free from the toxic grip of holding on to grudges and cultivate a greater sense of forgiveness and compassion in our lives? Buddhism offers several practical practices for releasing resentment and embracing forgiveness. Cultivate empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the person you're holding a grudge against and try to understand their perspective and motivations. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and experiences pain, and that holding on to grudges only perpetuates suffering for both parties involved. Practice loving-kindness meditation. Engage in loving-kindness meditation to cultivate feelings of compassion and goodwill towards yourself and others. Visualize sending love and forgiveness to the person you're holding a grudge against, wishing them peace and happiness. Release the need for revenge. Let go of the desire for revenge or retribution, recognizing that it only perpetuates the cycle of harm and suffering. Instead, focus on healing and moving forward with grace and dignity. Practice gratitude. Cultivate a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned and the opportunities for growth afforded by past grievances. Focus on the positive aspects of your life and the blessings that surround you rather than dwelling on past injustices. Seek support. Reach out to friends, family, or a trusted therapist for support and guidance in processing and releasing past grievances. Share your feelings openly and honestly, and allow yourself to receive the support and understanding you need to heal and move forward. Habit 6. Comparing yourself to others. In today's world of social media and constant connectivity, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. Whether it's comparing our appearance, achievements, or lifestyles, constant comparison breeds discontentment and undermines our sense of self-worth and happiness. According to Buddhist teachings, comparison is inherently toxic, as it leads to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and dissatisfaction, hindering our ability to find peace and fulfillment in the present moment. Comparison breeds discontentment in several ways. Firstly, it fosters a scarcity mindset, wherein we believe that there is a finite amount of success, happiness, and validation to go around. When we compare ourselves to others and perceive them as having more or better than us, we feel as though we are lacking or missing out, leading to feelings of jealousy, insecurity, and unworthiness. Comparison erodes our sense of gratitude and appreciation for what we have, as we become fixated on what others possess or achieve. Instead of focusing on our own unique strengths, talents, and blessings, we become consumed by feelings of envy and resentment towards those who appear to have more or be more successful than us. Comparison undermines our ability to cultivate genuine connection and empathy towards others, as we view them through the lens of competition and comparison, rather than recognizing their inherent worth and humanity. When we see others as rivals or threats to our own success and happiness, we close ourselves off to the possibility of genuine connection and collaboration. So how can we break free from the toxic cycle of comparison and embrace our individual uniqueness and self-acceptance? Buddhism offers several practical techniques for cultivating self-compassion and embracing our authentic selves. Practice self-awareness. Take time to explore and understand your own values, passions, and desires. Cultivate self-awareness through practices such as journaling, meditation, and introspection, allowing you to connect more deeply with your authentic self. Cultivate gratitude. Shift your focus from what you lack to what you have by cultivating a daily gratitude practice. Take time each day to reflect on the blessings and abundance in your life, no matter how small they may seem. Challenge negative thought patterns. Notice when you find yourself comparing yourself to others and challenge these negative thought patterns with evidence-based reasoning. Remind yourself that everyone's journey is unique and that success and happiness look different for everyone. Celebrate your achievements. Take time to celebrate your own achievements and successes, no matter how small they may seem. Acknowledge your progress and growth, and celebrate the unique gifts and talents that make you who you are. Habit 7. Overthinking. Overthinking is like a tangled web that traps the mind in endless loops of rumination and analysis. When we become trapped in the cycle of overthinking, we not only exhaust our mental and emotional energy, but also undermine our ability to find clarity and peace of mind. According to Buddhist teachings, overthinking is inherently harmful, as it leads to feelings of stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction, hindering our ability to find happiness and contentment in the present moment. The negative impacts of overthinking are manifold. Firstly, it robs us of the ability to fully engage with the present moment, as we become lost in a labyrinth of worries, doubts, and what-ifs. Instead of experiencing life as it unfolds, we become preoccupied with past regrets or future uncertainties, leading to feelings of unease and restlessness. Overthinking perpetuates a cycle of self-doubt and negativity, wherein we become hypercritical of ourselves and our abilities. When we ruminate excessively on past mistakes or future possibilities, we undermine our self-confidence and erode our sense of self-worth, leading to feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness. Overthinking prevents us from making clear and informed decisions, as we become paralyzed by indecision and analysis paralysis. Instead of trusting our intuition and inner wisdom, we second-guess ourselves and become mired in a sea of doubt and uncertainty, hindering our ability to take decisive action and move forward with confidence. So how can we quiet the restless chatter of the mind and reduce overthinking? Buddhism offers several practical mindfulness exercises for cultivating a sense of calm and clarity. Breath awareness. Practice mindful breathing by focusing your attention on the sensations of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or the sensation of air passing through your nostrils. Whenever you find your mind wandering, gently guide your attention back to your breath. Body scan meditation. Engage in a body scan meditation to bring awareness to the physical sensations in your body. Start at the top of your head and slowly scan down to your toes, noticing any areas of tension or discomfort. Allow yourself to relax and release any tension you may be holding onto. Grounding exercises. Use grounding techniques to anchor yourself in the present moment and reduce overthinking. Focus on your senses by noticing the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures around you. Engage in activities that bring you into the present moment, such as going for a walk in nature, listening to music, or cooking a meal. Labeling thoughts. Practice labeling your thoughts as they arise, categorizing them as either helpful or unhelpful. When you notice yourself getting caught up in overthinking, gently label the thought as thinking and redirect your attention back to the present moment. Habit 8. Judging yourself and others. Judgmental attitudes are like heavy chains that bind the heart and cloud the mind with negativity and divisiveness. When we engage in the habit of judging ourselves and others, we not only perpetuate feelings of separation and alienation, but also hinder our ability to cultivate compassion and understanding. According to Buddhist teachings, judgment is inherently harmful, as it leads to feelings of resentment, prejudice, and hostility, hindering our ability to find peace and connection in our relationships and communities. The harm of judgmental attitudes is manifold. Firstly, it fosters a sense of separation and division, wherein we categorize ourselves and others into us versus them based on arbitrary criteria or labels. When we judge others based on superficial characteristics or perceived shortcomings, we reinforce feelings of superiority or inferiority, leading to a sense of disconnection and alienation. Judgmental attitudes perpetuate a cycle of negativity and criticism, wherein we become hypercritical of ourselves and others. When we judge ourselves harshly for perceived flaws or failures, we undermine our self-esteem and erode our sense of self-worth, leading to feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness. Similarly, when we judge others based on superficial criteria or stereotypes, we perpetuate feelings of prejudice and discrimination, leading to harm and injustice. Judgmental attitudes prevent us from cultivating genuine connection and empathy towards others, as we view them through the lens of judgment and criticism rather than recognizing their inherent worth and humanity. When we judge others based on external appearances or behaviors, we fail to see the complexity and depth of their lived experiences, leading to misunderstandings and conflict. So how can we break free from the harmful cycle of judgmental attitudes and cultivate compassion and non-judgment in our lives? Buddhism offers several practical practices for cultivating empathy and understanding. Cultivate empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of others and try to understand their perspectives and experiences. Practice active listening and empathetic communication, allowing others to express themselves without fear of judgment or criticism. Challenge negative stereotypes. Notice when you find yourself making snap judgments or assumptions about others based on superficial criteria or stereotypes. Challenge these negative stereotypes with evidence-based reasoning and seek out opportunities to learn from diverse perspectives and experiences. Cultivate non-judgmental awareness. Practice observing your thoughts and emotions without attaching judgment or labels to them. Notice when judgmental thoughts arise and gently let them go, returning your attention to the present moment with curiosity and openness. Habit 9. Neglecting self-care. Neglecting self-care is like neglecting to nourish a delicate flower. Without proper attention and care, it withers and fades away. In our fast-paced and demanding world, It's all too easy to prioritize the needs of others or the demands of work over our own well-being. However, according to Buddhist teachings, self-care is essential for maintaining mental, emotional, and physical health, as it allows us to recharge, replenish, and rejuvenate our minds and bodies. The importance of self-care for mental well-being cannot be overstated. Firstly, self-care helps to replenish our mental and emotional reserves, allowing us to better cope with stress, anxiety, and other challenges. When we neglect our own needs and push ourselves to the brink of exhaustion, we undermine our ability to function effectively and maintain a sense of balance and equilibrium in our lives. Self-care fosters a sense of self-worth and self-esteem, as it communicates to ourselves that we are deserving of love, care, and attention. When we prioritize self-care, we send a powerful message to ourselves that our needs matter and deserve to be met, leading to feelings of empowerment and self-respect. Self-care strengthens our resilience and ability to bounce back from adversity, as it provides us with the resources and tools we need to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and equanimity. When we engage in regular self-care practices, we build a strong foundation of mental and emotional well-being that enables us to weather life's storms with greater ease and resilience. So how can we prioritize self-care and incorporate it into our daily lives? Buddhism offers several practical tips for nurturing our well-being and maintaining balance. Set boundaries. Establish healthy boundaries with others to protect your own time, energy, and well-being. Learn to say no when necessary and prioritize activities that nourish and replenish you. Prioritize rest and relaxation. Make time for rest and relaxation each day, even if it's just a few minutes of quiet meditation or deep breathing. Engage in activities that help you unwind and recharge, such as reading a book, taking a bath, or going for a walk in nature. Nurture your body. Take care of your physical health by eating nutritious foods, staying hydrated, and getting regular exercise. Pay attention to your body's signals and give yourself permission to rest when you need it. Seek support. Reach out to friends, family, or a therapist for support and guidance in prioritizing self-care. Share your struggles and challenges openly and honestly, and allow yourself to receive the support and understanding you need to prioritize your well-being. Habit 10. Holding on to control. Holding on to control is like grasping at a mirage. No matter how tightly we cling, it always slips through our fingers. In our quest for certainty and security, it's natural to want to control every aspect of our lives. However, according to Buddhist teachings, the illusion of control is a fundamental barrier to mental freedom, as it perpetuates feelings of anxiety, frustration, and dissatisfaction. The illusion of control stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of reality and our place within it. We falsely believe that by exerting control over external circumstances or outcomes, we can protect ourselves from uncertainty, adversity, and suffering. However, this illusion of control only serves to perpetuate a cycle of stress, anxiety, and disappointment as we inevitably encounter situations that are beyond our control. Holding on to control prevents us from fully engaging with the present moment and embracing the inherent uncertainty of life. When we cling to the illusion of control, we become fixated on future outcomes or past regrets, leading to feelings of unease and restlessness. Instead of surrendering to the flow of life and accepting things as they are, we resist and struggle against the natural ebb and flow of existence, leading to feelings of frustration and discontentment. The illusion of control undermines our ability to cultivate mindfulness and presence, as we become preoccupied with trying to micromanage every aspect of our lives. When we cling to control, we close ourselves off to the beauty and richness of the present moment, missing out on the opportunities for growth, connection, and transformation that life has to offer. So how can we break free from the illusion of control and surrender to the flow of life with greater peace and acceptance? Buddhism offers several practical techniques for cultivating surrender and acceptance. Practice letting go. Cultivate the art of letting go by releasing your attachment to specific outcomes or expectations. Recognize that true freedom lies in surrendering to the present moment and embracing the inherent uncertainty of life. Trust the process. Trust that life has a way of unfolding exactly as it should, even if it doesn't always align with our plans or expectations. Have faith in the wisdom of the universe and trust that everything is happening for your highest good, even if it doesn't seem that way at the time. Embrace impermanence. Recognize that everything in life is impermanent and subject to change. Embrace the inevitability of change and impermanence, allowing yourself to flow with the natural rhythms of existence rather than resisting or clinging to them. Surrender to the wisdom of life. Surrender to the wisdom of life by relinquishing your need for control and surrendering to the greater forces at work in the universe. Trust that life has a way of guiding you exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't always make sense in the moment. Habit 11. Engaging in gossip. Engaging in gossip is like poisoning the well of connection and trust. It corrodes relationships and undermines our sense of integrity and empathy. In our social interactions, it's all too easy to succumb to the temptation of gossip, whether out of boredom, insecurity, or a desire for social validation. However, according to Buddhist teachings, gossip is inherently harmful as it perpetuates feelings of distrust, division, and negativity, hindering our ability to cultivate authentic connections and foster a sense of community. The negative effects of gossip on the mind are manifold. Firstly, gossip fosters a culture of distrust and betrayal, wherein we become wary of sharing our thoughts, feelings, and experiences with others for fear of being talked about behind our backs. When we engage in gossip, we undermine the bonds of trust and intimacy that are essential for healthy relationships, leading to feelings of isolation and alienation. Gossip perpetuates a cycle of negativity and judgment, wherein we criticize and condemn others for perceived faults or shortcomings. When we gossip about others, we reinforce feelings of superiority or inferiority, leading to a sense of disconnection and competition rather than empathy and understanding. Gossip undermines our ability to cultivate mindfulness and presence as we become preoccupied with the lives and actions of others rather than focusing on our own thoughts and experiences. When we engage in gossip, we miss out on the opportunity to connect with others on a deeper level and cultivate empathy and compassion for their struggles and challenges. So how can we break free from the harmful cycle of gossip and foster positive communication habits that promote connection and empathy? Buddhism offers several practical suggestions for cultivating mindful communication. Practice empathy. Cultivate empathy by putting yourself in the shoes of others and trying to understand their perspectives and experiences. Practice active listening and empathetic communication, allowing others to express themselves without fear of judgment or criticism. Speak mindfully. Before speaking, pause and reflect on the intention behind your words. Ask yourself whether your words are truthful, kind, and necessary, and whether they contribute to the well-being of yourself and others. Speak with integrity and honesty, avoiding gossip and idle chatter. Focus on the positive. Instead of gossiping about others, focus on uplifting and empowering conversations that celebrate the strengths and achievements of others. Cultivate a culture of positivity and encouragement wherein everyone feels valued and appreciated for their unique contributions. Set boundaries. Establish healthy boundaries with others to protect yourself from engaging in gossip or being drawn into negative conversations. Learn to gracefully disengage from gossiping situations and redirect the conversation towards more positive and constructive topics. Lead by example. Be a role model for mindful communication by embodying the values of kindness, honesty, and integrity in your interactions with others. Show compassion and understanding towards those who engage in gossip and gently encourage them to practice more mindful communication habits. Habit 12. Living in the past. Living in the past is like trying to drive forward while constantly looking in the rear-view mirror. It impedes our ability to move forward and embrace the present moment. In our journey through life, it's natural to reminisce about past experiences and reflect on cherished memories. However, according to Buddhist teachings, clinging to the past and indulging in nostalgia is inherently harmful, as it perpetuates feelings of regret, longing, and dissatisfaction, hindering our ability to find peace and fulfillment in the present moment. The dangers of living in the past are manifold. Firstly, nostalgia fosters a sense of longing and attachment to bygone days, leading us to romanticize the past and overlook its challenges and difficulties. When we cling to the past, we undermine our ability to fully engage with the present moment and embrace the opportunities for growth and transformation that lie before us. Living in the past perpetuates a cycle of regret and resentment, wherein we become fixated on past mistakes or missed opportunities. When we dwell excessively on the past, we undermine our ability to forgive ourselves and others for past transgressions, leading to feelings of guilt, shame, and bitterness. Nostalgia undermines our ability to cultivate mindfulness and presence, as we become preoccupied with reliving past memories rather than focusing on the here and now. When we cling to the past, we miss out on the richness and beauty of the present moment, leading to feelings of disconnection and dissatisfaction. So how can we break free from the harmful cycle of living in the past and cultivate mindfulness and presence in our lives? Buddhism offers several practical mindfulness exercises for embracing the present moment. Breath awareness. Practice mindful breathing by focusing your attention on the sensations of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or the sensation of air passing through your nostrils. Whenever you find your mind wandering to the past, gently guide your attention back to your breath. Grounding techniques. Use grounding techniques to anchor yourself in the present moment and reduce rumination on the past. Focus on your senses by noticing the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures around you. Engage in activities that bring you into the present moment, such as going for a walk in nature, cooking a meal, or practicing yoga. Habit 13. Overconsumption of media. Overconsumption of media is like pouring endless streams of information into a cup already overflowing. It overwhelms the mind and drowns out our ability to think clearly and find peace. In today's digital age, we are bombarded with a constant barrage of media messages, from social media updates to news alerts to streaming content. However, according to Buddhist teachings, excessive media consumption is inherently harmful, as it perpetuates feelings of distraction, anxiety, and dissatisfaction, hindering our ability to cultivate mindfulness and presence in our lives. The cluttering effect of excessive media consumption on the mind is manifold. Firstly, it overwhelms our senses and hijacks our attention, leaving us feeling mentally and emotionally drained. When we consume media indiscriminately, we expose ourselves to a constant stream of stimuli that overload our cognitive resources and prevent us from fully engaging with the present moment. Overconsumption of media perpetuates a cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction, wherein we constantly compare ourselves to others and measure our worth based on external criteria. When we immerse ourselves in the curated images and narratives of social media, we inevitably fall into the trap of comparison and envy, leading to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Excessive media consumption undermines our ability to cultivate mindfulness and presence, as it encourages a passive and distracted mode of engagement with the world. When we spend hours scrolling through social media feeds or binge-watching streaming content, we disconnect from the richness and complexity of our lived experiences, leading to feelings of disconnection and alienation. So how can we break free from the harmful cycle of overconsumption of media and cultivate mindful media consumption habits that promote presence and clarity of mind? Buddhism offers several practical strategies for navigating the digital landscape with greater awareness and intention. Curate your content. Be mindful of the types of media content you consume and how it affects your mood and mindset. Choose content that uplifts and inspires you rather than feeds into feelings of negativity or comparison. Unfollow or mute accounts that promote toxic or harmful messages, and seek out sources of inspiration and positivity instead. Practice digital detoxes. Take regular breaks from media consumption by engaging in digital detoxes or media fasts. Dedicate periods of time each day or week to disconnecting from digital devices and engaging in offline activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Cultivate discernment. Develop a discerning eye and critical mindset when consuming media content. Question the sources and motivations behind the information you encounter, and seek out diverse perspectives and viewpoints to broaden your understanding of complex issues. Engage mindfully. Practice mindfulness while consuming media by paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations as you engage with digital content. Notice how different types of media affect your mood and mindset, and cultivate awareness of any habitual patterns or tendencies that arise. Habit 14. Resistance to change. Resistance to change is like trying to hold back the tide. No matter how hard we try, change is an inevitable part of life. In our quest for stability and security, it's natural to resist change and cling to familiar routines and habits. However, according to Buddhist teachings, the inevitability of change is a fundamental truth of existence, as everything in life is subject to impermanence and transformation. The discussion on the inevitability of change and the futility of resistance is multifaceted. Firstly, change is an inherent aspect of the natural world, as evidenced by the changing seasons, the aging process, and the cycle of birth and death. When we resist change, we deny the natural order of things and cling to an illusory sense of control and permanence, leading to feelings of anxiety, frustration, and discontentment. Resistance to change perpetuates a cycle of suffering and dissatisfaction, wherein we become trapped in patterns of clinging and aversion. When we resist change, we cling to the past or fear the future, preventing us from fully engaging with the present moment and embracing the opportunities for growth and transformation that change brings. The futility of resistance lies in the fact that change is inevitable and unstoppable, regardless of our efforts to control or manipulate it. When we resist change, we expend valuable energy and resources fighting against the tide, only to find ourselves exhausted and defeated in the end. Instead of resisting change, we can choose to embrace it with openness and acceptance, recognizing that change is a natural and necessary part of life. So how can we break free from the harmful cycle of resistance to change and cultivate adaptability and resilience in the face of life's inevitable transitions. Buddhism offers several practical practices for embracing change with greater ease and grace. Embrace impermanence. Recognize that everything in life is impermanent and subject to change. Cultivate an attitude of acceptance towards the changing nature of reality, allowing yourself to flow with the natural rhythms of existence rather than resisting or clinging to them. Foster flexibility. Cultivate flexibility and adaptability by embracing uncertainty and stepping outside your comfort zone. Instead of rigidly clinging to familiar routines and habits, be willing to explore new possibilities and perspectives, trusting that change often brings with it opportunities for learning and growth. Seek support. Reach out to friends, family, or a therapist for support and guidance during times of change and transition. Share your fears and concerns openly and honestly, and allow yourself to receive the support and understanding you need to navigate life's inevitable changes with greater ease and grace. Habit 15. Neglecting spiritual growth. Neglecting spiritual growth is like neglecting to water the roots of a tree. Without nourishment, it withers and fails to thrive. In our fast-paced and materialistic world, it's easy to prioritize external achievements and worldly pursuits over the nourishment of our spiritual well-being. However, according to Buddhist teachings, spiritual nourishment is essential for mental freedom and inner peace, as it provides us with a sense of purpose, meaning, and connection to something greater than ourselves. The importance of spiritual nourishment for mental freedom cannot be overstated. Firstly, spirituality provides us with a framework for understanding the deeper questions of life, such as the nature of existence, the purpose of suffering, and the pursuit of happiness. When we neglect our spiritual growth, we miss out on the opportunity to explore these fundamental questions and cultivate a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives. Spiritual nourishment offers us a sense of connection and belonging to something greater than ourselves, whether it be a higher power, a community of like-minded individuals, or the natural world. When we neglect our spiritual well-being, we risk feeling isolated and disconnected from the world around us, leading to feelings of loneliness, emptiness, and alienation. Spirituality provides us with tools and practices for cultivating inner peace and mental freedom, such as meditation, prayer, and mindfulness. When we neglect our spiritual growth, we miss out on the opportunity to cultivate these practices and incorporate them into our daily lives, leading to feelings of stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. So how can we break free from the harmful cycle of neglecting spiritual growth and incorporate spiritual practices into our daily lives? Buddhism offers several practical suggestions for nourishing our spiritual well-being and cultivating inner peace and mental freedom. Make time for reflection. Set aside time each day for reflection and introspection, whether it be through meditation, journaling, or quiet contemplation. Use this time to connect with your inner self and explore your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with curiosity and compassion. Engage in spiritual practices. Explore different spiritual practices and traditions that resonate with you, whether it be yoga, meditation, prayer, or mindfulness. Experiment with different techniques and find what works best for you, incorporating them into your daily routine with consistency and commitment. Connect with nature. Spend time in nature and connect with the natural world around you, whether it's going for a walk in the park, sitting by a lake, or hiking in the mountains. Immersing yourself in nature can be a powerful way to nourish your soul and cultivate a sense of peace and harmony. Cultivate gratitude. Practice gratitude by acknowledging and appreciating the blessings and abundance in your life, no matter how small they may seem. Take time each day to express gratitude for the beauty, wonder, and interconnectedness of the world around you, cultivating a sense of awe and appreciation for the miracle of existence. As we conclude our exploration of these 15 habits that hinder mental freedom, remember that true transformation begins from within. By recognizing and releasing these habits, we pave the way for greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment in our lives. We've delved into the wisdom of Buddhism, uncovering timeless teachings that offer practical insights for navigating the complexities of modern life. Each habit we've discussed serves as a roadblock on the path to mental freedom, but with awareness and intention, we can overcome them and cultivate a life of greater joy, purpose, and authenticity. We invite you to embark on this journey of self-awareness and transformation with us. Subscribe to our channel, Wisdom Diaries, for more content on mindfulness, personal growth, and spiritual nourishment. By joining our community, you'll gain access to valuable insights, practical tips, and inspiring stories that can support you on your path to mental freedom and inner peace. Together, let's continue to explore the depths of wisdom and cultivate lives filled with meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the days ahead.